What is up, everyone? Skratch coming up with another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are currently on the test server, guys, and I'm about to show you the most game-changing thing you've ever seen in Raid Shadow Legends. And trust me when I'm telling you that, I'm not messing around. We're gonna have a look at the Fusion Champion. Actually, all the Fusion Champions, including the Epic and the Rare. But the very first thing that I want to show you, the most game-changing thing in Raid Shadow Legends, guys, is nothing else but this. Pay attention to it. Let me just quickly find what I need, and I'm gonna show you how game-changing is actually the whole thing. If I'm gonna go right here, check this out. We have this piece of gear, instant upgrade. I want to take it to 16. Of course, you can select whatever you want. Maybe you don't want to level up a piece to 16 because it's rubbish, right? So you're still gonna select 8, 4, or 12, see where the rolls go, and decide later on if you want to max it. But just for the purpose of this video, I want to do this. This will instantly upgrade a piece of the gear, skipping, blah, blah, blah. Don't explain ever again. Bang! Look at that. Look at that. Plarium, where was this feature for the last 3 years? My god, this is absolutely game-changing. So finally we got this in the game, guys. I know I appreciate it a lot. I don't know about you guys. I know the mobile players will love it 100%. And how I mentioned, personally, I'm like, woohoo, you know? I can't believe it that it's finally here and how good it is. Why didn't we have this way earlier than before, man? Like, honestly, it's just crazy. Fusion, guys. This is how the Fusion will actually look like. Limited event. Ignore the time and whatever you see here on the screen. I'm not sure if it's gonna be the same in-game. This is for the test server, so we might have some different things. We're gonna have to use the same rare champion 16 times. Use the same epic champions 4 times. Now, the Fusion champion, the epic, they look okay. The rare champion is definitely not worth it to keep or anything like that. But if we're gonna have a quick look at the epic, I want to start with that just to kind of like show you what you are looking at and where is that epic hiding. There we go. Spirit Affinity. Shadow King champion. It looks awesome, right? One thing I want you to keep in mind is that you might not have easy options when you're talking about keeping one of the epics and using some of the rest for the Fusion. Now, this is a good epic for the majority of you guys out there that don't really open tons of shards, and it's harder for you to get it again because it can help you in faction wars. So if you want to do your faction wars, this is actually going to help you with the revive. On the A1, attacks one enemy 2 times, has a chance to decrease the turn meter, pretty good. The A2 teams up with a random ally to attack a single enemy, also fills the turn meter of all allies by 15. It's not like you're gonna have ally attack for the entire team. It's only for one ally, which is not necessarily a huge thing. But if you are somebody like, example me, I'm looking to speed up my runs for this faction. This champion is actually gonna help me because of the team up, the turn meter, decreased turn meter on the boss. And in case if somebody dies, you can come to the A3, revives an ally with 50% HP and turn meter, and places an increased defense on the ally for 2 turns. This is on a 4-turn cooldown. She might be the only viable reviver in this faction. We have Sachi, but I think she needs to kill somebody in order to revive, if I'm not mistaken. So if you are struggling to 3-star your faction, she's gonna be a massive help for a lot of you guys out there that actually need help with that specific thing. Support champion, decent base stats, decent defense, HP. Nothing like too crazy. Don't expect to use this champion as a damage dealer or anything like that. She looks awesome though. She looks pretty badass. And honestly, up to you, how I mentioned. If you want to get 5 copies, you're going to have to fuse all the 4 copies. And maybe we're going to have one available for grabs in the Summon Rush or in the Champion Chase tournament, where you actually summon. You might be able to get one epic champion. A lot of times they used to put them in the champion training as well, but I have a feeling that we won't be getting many copies of the epic directly. We're gonna actually have to fuse it, since you're gonna need to sink in tons of resources. Now, is the legendary champion worth it? Is this anything special, right? So let's have a quick look at it. And I actually prepared something. I moved the gear now on him, but before I recorded Valkyrie's shield with the exact same gear, and then I moved the gear on him and kind of tested both of their damage just so you guys can get an idea of what to expect. I know he's different. His base stats are not as good as Valkyrie. Like Valkyrie, she has 200 more base defense compared to Helicath. But this is how the champion looks like. I really think he looks amazing. Similar with the Epic, she looks pretty badass too, but this one looks sick. The Taken King. This is the set that I gave him just for the purpose of testing that. So this was the gear that I had on Valkyrie. Of course, different jewelries. But we have a Savage and a crit damage set. Total stats, that's kind of like what you can expect out of him. Almost 6.1k defense. So the reason why I have this on him is because the A1 needs a bit of accuracy. So I have 230. I feel like that's more than enough. I want to have accuracy for the weekend. So this will allow you guys to make a clan boss team with this bad boy. And let's just say Ferrokin the Fat. You have weaken and defense down from the champions. And you're covered with that. You don't need to bring in Draco. You can rely on different DPSers in order to throw in big numbers in the clan boss. And the good part about it, guys, is that you are able to use him for unkillable. He needs 11 books in total, how you guys can see. But if you're lucky, you're gonna need 2 books only for this champion, and those are to drop in the A3. Of course, if you wanna make the most out of the weekend, you're gonna need more than that. You're gonna have to fully book him. This is a champion that I would not recommend anyone to use him without books, since everything is kind of like important in terms of getting the cooldowns, getting the block damage, which is very, very important for clan boss, and having the A1, which lands weaken like this. You don't really need to bring in a different champion that does that. Think about him like a Sir Nicholas. Think about him like a Roshkard. You can make so many different clan boss teams with this. You can combine him with a Warcaster. You can combine him with Roshkard, with Sir Nick, with Skull Crusher. The options are unlimited. With Demeter, with Maneater. Like, you have so many options for unkillable. I'm not gonna try him in clan boss in a proper team today, guys. We're gonna leave that for another day. But just so you guys can have an idea, he can work in so many clan boss teams you have no idea. Check my clan boss playlist that I have on the channel. You're gonna find everything that you need to know about teams like this. Look at Sir Nicholas Roshkard. He's gonna fill the exact same spot. A2 attacks all enemies, places a shield, and the shield is proportional to his defense. So it's nothing to do with the damage he deals or anything like that. You can build him with 0 crit rate and still get the same amount of shield as long as you have a solid amount of defense. He gets only 10% out of it, but he's getting 20% damage. So the masteries that I gave him just to test him out, to kind of like show you the shield and exactly what he can do, are here. That's just to be identical with what Valkyrie had. I'm definitely going to go on the support tree, and I'm going to change the offense tree, but just give me a second to test him out for you guys to see the shield, see a bit the damage, and then I'm quickly going to change the masteries to show you how I would personally use him for clan boss, how I would personally use him for progression in dungeons, and for the Doom Tower as well. So this is Val, guys. This is the gear that is going to be on Helicath as well. These are her total stats. So she has a much higher base defense compared to Helicath. So yeah, she does have almost 450 more defense than him, which is pretty solid. But then he's gonna have the aura, and it's kind of like gonna compensate for all that. Same stats if you're looking at the rest, and the masteries, they're gonna be identical. I just want to make sure everybody understands that the damage is not what actually increases the shield, but I want to test his damage at the same time, just to kind of like give you guys an idea of what to expect in terms of damage from Valkyrie, in terms of damage from him, because is a fair comparison. They are the 2 defense-based champions that drop in big shields. So I want to see how big is the shield compared to that, you know. We have the team right there. We use Siphi to give us increased defense because that's going to boost us a bit. We cannot use an aura because Valkyrie doesn't have an aura for all battles. But there we go. Okay. Pop the A2. So you see the damage is fairly decent. You're gonna see that the damage from Helicath is actually better. The shield, on the other hand, seems pretty thick. If we're gonna move over to Helicath, let's see what shield we're getting out of there. So you've just seen the shield and the damage that Valk actually brings in with the same gear set that he has on. A benefit for him as well is that he has the defense aura, which we're gonna use 100% because it's for all the battles. Very important. Valkyrie, she has a higher base defense, so that's still kind of gonna put them almost on the same level. He's gonna have a bit more defense with the aura though, one thing to keep in mind. So let's go in and see the shield and what damage to expect from him, and of course the animations. So give me that. Give me these two. Do the exact same thing we've done with Valkyrie. And let's start with the shield. Let's see what's gonna happen here. Have a look at animation, the damage, everything. Oh, that's a nice animation. The damage is actually better than Valkyrie's if you're paying attention to the opponents. They got quite a decent hit. The shield is not as strong as Valkyrie's just by looking at the HP bars here on the characters, on Venus and on Siphi. But it's not far off either. So I still think this is a very, very powerful shield, and it's gonna be very, very helpful for lots of content in the game. True, Skratch, unkillable teams only survive up to turn 50. Shield and killable, they don't go good together. They don't, no. But what about if you're making a hybrid team with this champion and you're gonna have shield, you're gonna be covered for after turn 50 to go upwards if you want to bring in more damage in case if you're not able to 1-kill with your unkillable team, and you're kind of like slightly building your other champions different just to allow you to take a few hits, survive a bit longer with the shield that he brings in for the team. That might be a fairly decent idea. Now, it's not guaranteed that it's gonna work as intended 100%, but it might be a decent thing to keep in mind. Let's have a quick look at his A1. 58, 57k on that mob. So that means that we're gonna get 150 to 200k damage in the clan boss, which is definitely pretty solid. I want to change the masteries just so I can show you guys what exactly I would use on this champion for the general use, you know, let me just put it like that. Right now, I really wanted to give him the exact same masteries with Valkyrie, just so nobody understands it differently. Will I necessarily build him on Savage? No, not necessarily at all. You can actually build him on many different sets, but in terms of masteries, you wanna avoid Cycle of Magic if you plan to use him in Clan Boss, because that's gonna mess up your entire tune. Then, if you're going on masteries right here, probably I would suggest you to go in like this, since we are gonna try him in Clan Boss. We wanna get the most out of it. He's gonna be probably on full HP because of the block damage, so that's kind of like what matters. Life Drinker is not as important for what we're doing, but nothing else is gonna benefit him more. This is only for the first hit. It's gonna be a waste. I feel like Life Drinker can help him in the rest of the content, like if you're talking about dungeons, if you're talking about other things like that. So it's a double hitter, so we're actually gonna pick War Master just to make the most out of it. And here, this is kind of gonna go to waste, or you can pick Lore of Steel depending on what team you are making. Gotta keep in mind, some teams, they don't work good with that. So let's take him in the Clan Boss just to see what damage we're getting out of him. Probably for Clan Boss, I would try to build him a bit differently. But again, I'm not sure what sets I would want to use on him, you know, what exactly to expect from it. Sorry, I actually just clicked on the wrong thing there. So let's see what he can do on the Clan Boss. We're going to use him as lead. I want to bring him in defense up because that's going to increase the damage on the rest of his skills. So I want to see that in action. Unfortunately, Weaken didn't land it. But guess what? He's the backup. 61k, 72k, and we landed Weaken. So that's pretty decent. Almost 150k. Hit with the A1. Very good damage, actually. Is a bit higher than Draco, considering that Draco doesn't have attack down. That's the shield. Pretty good, actually. So, Helicath is gonna be pretty strong for Clan Boss, guys. If you're using him just for block damage, you can always go on the team preset, switch off his A2, have only the A1, so he can constantly do more damage like that, and make sure the Weaken stays on the Clan Boss. And then you have this option too. Bang, block damage, and you'll keep on going like that. Honestly, I feel like he's gonna be pretty solid. Bang. Well, guys, that was pretty much everything for today's video. I just wanted to show you everything, how it works, how is Helicath actually behaving in here. The best feature in the game, the artifact, is amazing. Appreciate all of you guys watching, and I'll catch you all soon in the next video. Peace.